Processing activities is the area of wired relations where we work with and map out our records of processing activities, the legally required ROPA that we all need to be able to hand over to the Data Protection Authority should they ever ask for it. We believe this document is essential and fundamental to your compliance with the GDPR and builds the foundation for everything else that comes after. And therefore, when we enter data protection and GDPR area, we'll quickly see that the first thing we look at is our processing activities. Functionally, it's very simple to work with our processing activities. In this example, I have 313 mapped at the moment. I can very easily and quickly edit the columns shown. I might be interested in only seeing the processing activities for HR, in which case I can either pull that column up in front or create a filter to look at only HR's processing activities. Going into one of them, such as job applications, we can see that working with processing activities is a matter of being guided step by step through everything you should look at for your ROPA. We have our steps on the right, and each step contains a series of questions built on the best practice of hundreds of customers on what should be in a ROPA, not just what is legally required, but also what other areas should we look at that make it either easier to complete our ROPA or that are required elsewhere within the GDPR and just practically make sense to look at the same time as we map our ROPA. If we go through our ROPA and notice any gaps in our compliance, we might create a task for ourselves to look at the empty areas or gaps on any given step and set a deadline to look at this and possibly assign it to someone else that might be in charge of the ROPA. Approaching the end of the ROPA, we obviously also want to think about how often do we want to maintain our processing activities. At the very least, we suggest that you revisit them annually just to make sure then and document that this is something you have looked at and the person in charge, in this case, Karen, has revisited the processing activity, maintained it, and we're 100% sure that it's up to date at that point. But we also recommend building this into your continual processes so that if there ever is a change in job applications, you make the update to your processing activities immediately instead of waiting for the annual review. Going back to the overview of processing activities, it's very simple to pull this out for the Data Protection Authority should you ever need it or internal reporting. We simply mark the processing activities we want to pull out and then click download PDF to get a readable and nicely formatted document we can deliver to anyone we want to. And that's how we work with processing activities in wired relations.